Go to unplugged.whirlwind.com, and for only $2.99 a year or $34 a month, you get the lowest price tee time that day for any time you choose. You can save anywhere between 15 to 60%. Terms and conditions apply. Go to unplugged.whirlwind.com and feel the wind.
Thanks for listening, Unplugged Army. I'm Louis Unga, General Manager at Whirlwind Golf Club at Wild Horse Pass. We're proud to present Doug Franz Unplugged.
Forming offense.
Forming offense.
4 minutes.
Forming offense. Forming offense.
Everything you need to know in sports that affects Maricopa County, the state of Arizona, and the world, you get in 4 minutes. We start things off in Lahaina on Maui County, Hawaii. ASU does it again. Down 9-0 to start the game. Down by 10 in the second half. They win 100-94 over Wazoo. Ma'odom had 26 points on 5 of 7 shooting. Bryce Ford, very strong, 18 points. And they had a tough time trying to defend against Cougar ace Glass, who lit up the Devils for 40. Head coach Bobby Hurley.
I can't credit, and then you guys, you could ask whatever you want, but I can't credit the effort Washington State put forth tonight. Just super impressive. The way they shot the ball. 14 of 26 for 3. You could be like locked in a gym by yourself and not shoot like that. So it was really impressive.
Sun Devils hold on for the win. They're 3-0 out here on the islands, 2-0 in the Maui Invitational. Now the finals. Former Pac-12 foe again. This time it's USC, who is now coached by Eric Musselman, a former assistant coach on the bench of Herb Sendek with Arizona State. Coach Muss, when you've been watching the Devils this week, what do you see?
I respect how Coach Hurley's put together his basketball team, to find a guy like they're off guard that's, where'd he come from, and then he comes out and he really contributes. And, they're a team that plays like their coach, they take on his personality.
Tip-off this afternoon, 12:30. Huge win for GCU. Grand Canyon knocks off Utah 68-58. Jaden Henley had 18 points. GCU gets another opportunity to have a big win. Beat the Big 12 last night, beat the Big 10 potentially tonight. They take on Iowa. Tip-off in Palm Springs, 7:30. Here we go. The Territorial Cup. Jeff Sims, Sun Devil quarterback. You're first. Are you ready?
I've been here for 2 years, and really just my last home game in college. It's gonna be a surreal moment.
What would a win like this mean to you? Especially with the last several wins in a row that you guys have accomplished as quarterback.
Not even so much mean to me. It's going to mean a lot to this team. You know what I'm saying? It's a rivalry week. It's a big rivalry. And we just ready to go out there and perform.
Danny Gonzalez, former defensive coordinator of the Arizona State Sun Devils, left to go to his alma mater, New Mexico, as the head coach. Comes back to the state. Now is the DC on the other side. Coach, you've seen it from both viewpoints. Give us the history.
It's got some intense moments in it. If you go back to 1946, the record 51-45-1. And they vacated the one win and whatever 21 was. The game was played on the field, so you really can't vacate it. So really 46 wins for them. And the amazing thing is only one tie. 1987 is the only tie and only one overtime game. 2010, the double overtime game. That's an amazing series, and to be that competitive. And then last year, obviously, they had a great football team that did some spectacular things and boat raced us.
U of A coming up Friday night, 7 o'clock. The loss for the Cardinals was Sunday. We're already to Wednesday, but we're still not done, and we shouldn't be, with the bonehead decision to not get the ball spiked in a timely manner and then have an opportunity to run 2 plays plus kick the field goal before the overtime. This time, offensive coordinator Drew Petzing is asked about it.
Felt like we kind of had an opportunity to get a one-on-one to Mike or Trey, 2 of our best players out there in that moment, but would have liked to see about 3 or 4 more seconds on the clock when we did that. I think that was kind of the disappointing part, and the part we'll focus on in the room is hey, we got to operate just a little bit quicker, and as we talked about those details, sometimes 2 seconds is all the difference.
Up next, Cardinals at Bucks, Sunday morning at 11. 3 games in 4 nights, tough. 3 games in 4 nights in back-to-back weekends, extremely tough. And that's what the Suns are looking at. 6 games, 9 days. They're 2-1 on this stretch. They take on the Sacramento Kings without Allen, without Ryan Dunn, without Jalen Green. Tip-off, 8 o'clock. And finally, meet Cole Bertels of Illinois, who walked 40 miles to a Circle K in Missouri just to kick open a glass window to eat a bag of beef jerky and drink some sweet tea, and that was it. This guy, Cole Bertles, decides to come in and bash open the door. Then he tells cops the reason why he did it is because the voice in his head told him to just kick it open because he needed to go to the bathroom. That was all. But then after he was already done going to the bathroom, he decided that he wanted some beef jerky, and then he decided he was thirsty and wanted something to drink. Quote, I know you're going to think I'm crazy, but there is an AI intelligence speaker in my neck. Well, Cole, number one, I don't know if we'd really call that anything to do with intelligence. Number two, what about the time you were arrested for burglary? Did AI help in that situation? Or property damage? Or your second-degree misdemeanor? Or the fact that you were locked up for 9 years in the Illinois state prison for aggravated robbery? Or how about that time you had multiple felony burglary convictions? So either you're sick or you're full of it. Or both. I say it's time to put you somewhere where you can't kick open the door anymore.
Hey, Unplugged Army, this is General Mike. The thing I love about Bell's most is the staff. Every time I come here, they make sure I'm having a good time, and I always bring my daughter here, and she has dietary restrictions. They always find something with their fresh ingredients to make for her to hit the gluten-free, dairy-free menu items. So always enjoyed it when I come here. Can't wait to come back.
Bell's Nashville Kitchen on Main Street in Old Town Scottsdale.
You found home, down home.
Is there ever a time where taking your wife out on a date is a bad idea? I mean, we had ham and cheese and bread in the room, and we had media food, and now I'm exhausted. What am I doing? Oh, no. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Whatever it is that you've decided to make Doug Franz Unplugged a part of your day, my family greatly appreciates it. That music is loud. My family greatly appreciates it. My name is Doug Franz, and you have found the only podcast in the world totally devoted to the coverage of the four major sports franchises of one great American city that drops on your phone each and every weekday morning. We also cover ASU, U of A, GCU, the Rattlers, the Rising, and the Merc. This is Doug Franz Unplugged, presented by Whirlwind Golf Club at Wild Horse Pass. How are you? I am miserable and wonderful all at the same time. I can't describe it to you at all. I am in such a good mood because the decision for Jennifer and I to come here to Hawaii, I just feel like is totally paying off. With Arizona State getting 2 wins that nobody really thought that they were going to get. I think everybody thought they were going to win this middle game because more than likely they would have played the Division II school Chaminade. You assume Chaminade would lose to Washington State, so you then take on Washington State, but the Cougars were 10 times tougher than anybody expected, and now Arizona State's in the championship game, had some great conversations with Bobby Hurley, just having a really good time. So that's what's most important. But last night, so the game ends not terribly late yesterday, but we immediately go back to the hotel and I sit out to join CBS 5. It was really cool. Mark McClune said, hey, do you mind coming on our live shot? And I said, sure, no problem. So we were together for that. That seemed to go off very, very well. And I just really enjoy Mark. And for those of you that don't know, Mark is just like you, a 100% true member of the Unplugged Army, listens to the podcast almost daily. So that was great to be able to spend some time with them. And then I was starving, even though I had already eaten about 3 hours ago at, like media chicken strips or little burritos or whatever they had. No, I had spaghetti. I forgot I had a whole thing of spaghetti. But Jennifer hadn't eaten, and we just sat down at the hotel restaurant and had a deep and beautiful and wonderful conversation. Just a great married couple conversation that just helps grow your marriage. And by the time I was done with we just sat there and talked forever. And of course they had beer and a great date night. I'm watching GCU, Utah the whole time, trying to get to know GCU a little bit. So I had a great time with that. And by the time I started the podcast, it was already pretty late. When I say start the podcast, the problem is during the week, I am always downloading what I call sound, always downloading coaches, downloading players, stuff like that with their information off of YouTube. And now I haven't been able to do that at all during the day while we're in Hawaii because I'm at games all the time or I'm meeting with somebody, things like that. So I'm just chasing my tail, but I'm not complaining. It's Hawaii. You know what I mean? That's what's been going on while I've been here. It's been work all the time, but working in the most beautiful place on earth at the tournament I love more than just about anything else. So that's why I'm miserably wonderful, because I am totally run ragged. Another change in plans because of my physical situation. Like, I'm exhausted. I'm totally exhausted. I was not going to do a show the rest of the week. I was going to do tonight's show or this show right now. And then I wasn't going to do another show. I was going to take the rest of the weekend off. But I just do not have the stamina to talk Territorial Cup today. And because of that, there's no way I'm going to let a game this big between two top 25 teams in our backyard coming up on Friday go by the wayside. So what I'm going to do is still take tomorrow off. So Thanksgiving Day, no show. So that means tonight I'm not going to do a show. I will probably do something from the airport that's really small, meaning no 4-minute offense. But if ASU wins, I'm going to have some exclusives with Bobby Hurley, and I'm going to put all of those up as a podcast without the 4-minute offense. So I'm going to do that, and I'm just going to put that together at the airport. Then on Thursday, I'm going to enjoy my time with I'm going to sleep in, greatly sleep in, enjoy the time with the family. And then I will do another show for Friday morning, which is based on the game Friday night, totally focused on the Territorial Cup. So a lot of changes for this week and this week only, a little bit because of my exhaustion, a little bit because I'm still catching up from my poor planning last week, but also because I don't want to miss something. You know, I still want to give you all I've got, and I haven't quite been able to. And you deserve it because that's why. There's no other reason. You deserve it. And I want to give you all that I've got. Before I keep rolling, just another heartfelt thank you. Thank you. I can feel this was a great move. Getting a lot more followers. A lot of people are getting exposed to the podcast that didn't know about it because of people like Cam Cox at 12 News saying, yes, we want to put you on TV Sunday night. Because of Mark McClune saying, hey, do you want some exposure? Can we talk about putting you on? And me saying yes. But also the things I'm posting on Instagram and Twitter, more people are seeing the work that you and I are doing to push this forward. And I just, number one, thank you. Number two, please do me the best that you can. Same as me. I'm giving you the best that I've got today. Keep doing the best you can at supporting the sponsors. You know, if you're hungry in the morning, swing through a Burrito Express. If you've got a buddy in town, tell them, I know exactly what we're going to do. We're going to go to Whirlwind Golf Club. We're going to play a round of golf, and then we're going to go over to Tempe and have an A Mountain Amber Ale. Or if it's like a fun date with if your buddy brought his wife, something like that, then take her up to listen to country music at Bell's, you know, and think outside the box and have a great time. But please figure out a way to do whatever you can to help promote the sponsors as a way to say thank you for everything that I'm trying to do and everything we're trying to do together. I would really, really appreciate that. All right. I know this is out of left field. I know this is the strangest Doug's Big One. I know it doesn't fit, but I can't keep going forward without spending a minute talking about it. Let's roll. Doug.
Doug. Where's Doug? Here, sorry, Doug. Where are you at?
Yeah, was that a plug?
to unplug right there. That was smooth.
Well, I can only answer the questions that get asked of me, Doug.
Obviously, Franz is such a good player.
Doug's Big One. I know I've actually talked about this, but it's grown to the point where I need to bring it up again because it just makes me want to throw up in my mouth at how disgusting of a person, in my opinion, and we've all got problems in our lives, but how disgusting of a person Lane Kiffin is. I totally believe Lane Kiffin is going to Florida or LSU, and it will be announced over the weekend. And I can't get over how shameful I think that is. He's the head coach of Ole Miss after spending 1 year at Tennessee, bailing on them and becoming the Raiders head coach, getting fired in only a year and a half as the Raiders head coach, then trying to, I guess, revitalize his career by spending time with Nick Saban in Alabama, getting fired by Nick Saban because he's not focused on the job at hand, finally gets a job, I think, at Florida Atlantic, but whoever it was, it was either Florida Atlantic or Florida International. I forget what it was, but he gets a job in Southern Florida. That seems to go well. And then he gets hired by Ole Miss and totally grows this program to something that's never been there before. And now he's looking at the possibility of leaving. Everybody is speculating that he is leaving. And they have a game. Their rivalry game is coming up this weekend. And if they win that, they are in the college football playoff. So you can't say that, hey, you need to go somewhere so you have a chance to win. I do believe LSU is a better job than Ole Miss, and I do believe Florida is because of no state income tax. I'm not saying that. We all have a right to dictate the terms where we're going, but it's just the fact that he's a fraud. And I don't like to say that about another human being, but he has been rebuilding this image by telling everybody that since his father died, he's realized he's allowed his life to be devoured by football and somewhat by drinking. And he stopped drinking altogether. He made sure that his family, his children, his parents, and even his ex-wife live in the same area of Oxford, Mississippi, so that at a moment's notice, they're all together. All he does is talk about family, and then boom, you see this. That up there, he's leaving, even though he's got the perfect situation. I just think that's so crappy because your team hasn't finished yet. Imagine if your whole team in week 4 of the season, week 5 of the season would have just quit. Everybody just quit. What would you have done? They all quit. Well, now you're doing that to them. You're going to win this game against Mississippi State. You're going to advance to a college football playoff. You're probably hosting a college football playoff game. You're probably hosting the biggest event, biggest sporting event in Mississippi State history. And instead, you're going to bail to work for a conference team after saying that you were done, that you're done bouncing around, you love Ole Miss, blah, blah, blah. This is one of those things where, listen, we all have a right to move up the ladder, to leave one job and go to another. But the only way this is stopped is when a parent says, you know what, I'm not letting you go play for him. I think that Gainesville fits the Oxford motif better than Baton Rouge does. Now, Baton Rouge is more deep south than Gainesville, just like Oxford. Baton Rouge, however, is a little bit different of a town compared to Gainesville, and I think Gainesville fits him the best. I think he's going to Florida. But even if he stays, why not squash those rumors? Why take those visits? Why not do what's best for somebody else for once in your life and what's best for those kids? One time in your life. And since you've proven you can win there, Because you've been doing it. Why do you need to leave? Why? And if he's doing this for leverage to get more money out of other Mississippi boosters, then tell him that. Have the courage for once to say, hey, I want to let everybody know I'm looking around at other jobs, and here's why. I think that in order to compete, Ole Miss needs to produce more money for my players. If you can do that, I'm staying. But if you're not, then you're breaking a pact with me before I got here that we would not struggle to have this. And now that we are, I think it's time for me to go. I would actually support him on that completely. But to bounce around the country forever, then finally settle down into a great situation that you said you were in for the long haul, and now you're bailing? No. Lane Kiffin has never changed, and he's the same cheeseball dude he was years ago. And that's Doug's big one. I am definitely going to 100 Mile Brewing on Monday, and I'm definitely getting an oil change on Monday at 100 Mile Brewing Company. So if you want to join me for lunch, great. And maybe you too could schedule an oil change from Santan Ford right after mine. Please let me go first because I am in a hurry to get things going for the podcast that day. But I'm looking forward to coming home. I'm looking forward to hopefully having ASU with the championship. And I'm looking forward to the service of Santan Ford. No, that's not a cheeseball segue. It's just really simple. Everybody needs an oil change, but why not have it done at your convenience on your time? And that's what they'll do at Santan Ford. Light repairs, they bring the mobile unit to you. Heavier repairs, they'll come pick up your car, take it in to have it worked on for you, and bring it back to you. It's so much simpler. It's the service you get when you choose Santan Ford. Black Friday deals running out. Jump on them this week for your opportunity to save thousands, $0 down, 0 payments for 90 months. I don't think I got that right. 0 payments for 90 days and 0% financing for 60 months. Sounds a little better. That's Santan Ford, 202 of Val Vista. I am Santan Ford. Really nervous of how the show's going to turn out because I'm making a lot of mistakes. I know I'm making a lot of mistakes in trying to edit and put the show together. So thanks for your forgiveness in anything I run into. Just real quick, because it's going to be a lot of ASU hoops coming up in the bulk of the show. But I want to spend one quick second on college football in our state. We have a 20th ranked team in the country, ASU, hosting the 25th ranked team in the country. U of A, you are that botched drop in the back of the end zone against BYU. That was the only thing separating you from competing for a Big 12 championship coming up Friday night. That's it. That little drop. Now, no, I'm not blaming one kid. Every play that resulted in a negative outcome, every bad play call, all of it, it's every single person's fault. I don't want to, okay, do not take it the wrong way. But my point is that's how close it was. And you're sitting there at number 25 getting through that much adversity. That's just absolutely phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. And I still don't know how to hook up my 360 to my board. So if you remember the old, if you love the old show, I used to have that box that played all kinds of sound effects. That was called a 360, just because that was the brand name of it. And Wolf loved the bells of recantation whenever you had to publicly admit you were wrong. And I don't even feel comfortable doing this. I don't feel comfortable admitting I'm wrong because I stare down Brent Brennan and say, you're still goofy. I still don't understand how you motivate anybody. It's just so strange. And you still you still made those decisions last year that proved you were so far over your head. But if I'm going to be that hard on him last year, I've got to be that supportive of him this year. He's a top 25 ranked coach. even though I think it has everything to do with Danny Gonzalez and Seth Dagey, who creates the culture? That's the head coach, always, 100% of the time. And he has created an environment where those coordinators can truly show what they can do. And U of A is now 25th. It's remarkable. It's absolutely remarkable. Is it as amazing as last year? No, it isn't. What ASU did was far superior and still far more amazing. Yet, Brent Brennan's in year 2, just like Kenny Dillingham was in year 2 last year. And who knows if I'm right. You don't drop something in your car and then miss opportunities later. I forget the whole story, but I tell you, I just had to take a quick second and say, U of A fan, congratulations after what you went through last year. I think this is going to be a hell of a football game. And I hope to create a great breakdown for you leading into Friday so you still have a full tailgate show even though it's Thanksgiving. Because U of A fans and ASU fans deserve it going into a potential ASU Big 12 weekend. Who knows? ASU might be Maui Invitational champions and Territorial Cup champions in the same weekend. Now, wouldn't that be impressive? All right, coming up next, let's talk about the Maui Invitational and what we saw from Bobby Hurley yesterday. It's coming up on Doug Franz Unplugged, presented by Whirlwind Golf Club at Wild Horse Pass. Going to be hard to keep up with this list, but from Parker & Sons Heating, Cooling, Plumbing, and Electrical, we have a reverse osmosis system, a tankless water heater, and 2 air scrubbers that actually remove pollens and germs from the air that we breathe in our home. So what does Parker & Sons do? They only handle the air that we breathe and the water that we drink, and they do a great job. Call 602-2-REPAIR. That's 602, the number 2, then REPAIR for Parker & Sons.
It's big, it's juicy, it's meaty. Get your burrito at Burrito Express. If you're having a hangover, a bad day, even a good day, still get your burrito at Burrito Express. It will make you feel better.
Come on, feel that. And here we go. ASU got up to 100 points last night. They beat Wazoo 194. Wazoo hit the first 3 shots of the game, all 3-pointers. ASU then goes on a 14-0 run to take the lead. And then Wazoo really controlled most of the game until Mo Odom decides, no, you don't. It's truly remarkable. Mo Odom, the point guard of ASU, spends most of the time trying to get everybody involved until he feels like, I've tried. Now it's go time. And you didn't hit enough shots, so now I will. And he did it again. The biggest storyline was not being able to handle Ace Glass. Ace Glass of Washington State was a one-night legend. 40 points in the game, 16 of 18 from the free throw line, 9 of 14 from the field, an incredible 6 of 9 from 3. As a team, they shot better than 50% from 3. As a team, 14 of 26 from 3. And then you couple that with 22 of 29 from the free throw line, and they were amazing. Just amazing. And what's really shocking to me is how clear-cut it appeared what was happening and how the stats don't back that up. The whole time I'm watching that game, I think ASU is getting destroyed on the offensive boards. They're just not getting enough offensive rebounds. Well, game's over. I look at the stats. Washington State had 9 offensive rebounds. ASU had 8. Obviously, the gap is not what I thought. I thought that ASU was getting drubbed in points in the paint. Drubbed. Because there were so many stretches where there were seams in that defense that would get exploited by Washington State. Then I look at the final stats. ASU 1 points in the paint, 34-26. The only really tough stat that ASU cares about nowadays that Wazoo smoked them in, fast break points, 12-5. That's not a strong enough fear that way. Washington State, there's a stat on this stat sheet of how long did you have the lead. Washington State had the lead for 25 minutes. Devils had the lead for 10.5. That's how dominant Utah was. 2.5 times, over double the minutes leading. But they couldn't get basically the conditioning to get themselves back on the floor, so they could have won that game. Now, I think both teams are going to have a problem with USC. I don't want to pick USC. I don't want blood money, but I would think USC is going to win in game 3 of this tournament because just watching them, they have incredible length. And I think they're really going to cause a problem in a lot of the passing lanes for ASU. So I think this is going to be a very tall order. But boy, does that look great on the resume. If you've got a win over an SEC team in week 1 or in day 1 of this tournament, and now a win over a Big Ten opponent, it really looks good. Let's catch up with head coach Bobby Hurley. He walked up to the microphone after the win, and here was his opening statement.
It's a real honor to get an opportunity to play for a championship tomorrow in such a prestigious event, and just proud of my guys. We, as everyone saw last night, we had a war with Texas. That was a really hard game and a physical game and a quick turnaround, and Washington State played very well. I'll give them credit. The kid Glass had some performance tonight. So to overcome all that, it's pretty special, and these two guys were a big part of it.
When he says these two guys, he had Bryce Ford up there from Scottsdale, and then, of course, the new star of the city, Mo Odom, was up there as well. This is then Eric Musselman. He's a former ASU assistant. He's now the head coach of USC. And I asked him in preparation now for competing against Bobby Hurley in Arizona State, how are you handling on or planning on doing that? What is your normal scouting responsibilities? How do you divide up the scout? Do you do it one group does offense, one group does defense, or is it one guy's got this team, one guy's got the road team, one guy's got the home team? How are you putting together your plan for tonight and tomorrow morning against ASU?
Yeah, for sure. We divide it up during the regular season. Because of the time amongst games, Todd Lee is preparing us for the other team's sets. Michael Musselman is doing the personnel, and Anthony Root is watching, the defense of the opposing team to try to figure out. When we have back-to-backs, we divide it up. So like today was Coach Earl Boykins, prep. Thought he did a great job. I don't even know who's got these two teams. I mean, I was only worried about, today, but whenever we leave here, we'll go back and we'll eat. We'll have a 5 to 7 minute film session before we eat, another 5 to 7 film session after we eat, and then before dinner a 5 to 7 minute film session, and then we'll do a walkthrough tonight, and then we'll do a walkthrough in the morning.
What's really going to be great about watching these two teams compete, we're really going to see how well they process information, because you got so little time to pick up the information that you got to have a huge basketball IQ. I think USC is going to win because there's one factor I haven't liked about ASU in these first two games. I think they're last to the floor. I think the other team is getting to loose balls faster than ASU is. And that's the one thing you can't do. You can't suddenly become pretty. Trust me, I went from good looking to ugly. I know. ASU has got to get on the floor faster. They've got to fight and scrap and claw for everything. And listen, I'm not questioning any point of their fight or resilience when you watch the fact, or you think about the fact that they have come back from a 10-point deficit and I think an 11-point deficit in back-to-back games, and with both leads at one point being in the second half. So they can clearly come back, but why are people getting the lead in the first place? Again, I'm not saying ASU should win the national championship this year, but I am saying they're good enough to advance further if they ratchet up the hustle and the physicality. And I think that's going to be vitally important against USC. When I watch USC, there's a lot of long, strong dudes. But I don't think they use their leverage well. I don't think they use their strength well. I think they can be manhandled by any team that just attacks that weakness of complacency. And that's going to be important for ASU to do that to USC. They just have that arrogance that says, hey, we're USC, we'll figure it out. Everything will be fine. And that's not the case. And the way that you win is you punch them in the mouth by being really, really physical, really, really fast. As soon as that game starts, you need them to know they're in a dogfight. And I think USC will cough up the basketball. If ASU doesn't go on the attack, well, then USC can sit back, feel comfortable, and think it's a game of cutesy little serenades to the basket or whatever. And that's not a good thing. Make them fight. Make them fight. This is kind of more of a back and forth between Bobby Hurley and myself, in which I'm the one asking a question and I start talking to the players as well. And then they like to go opening statement, coach, player questions, coach questions. So I followed along with what they wanted.
Talk to us about getting Bryce to come home and the way he stepped up on your last game in Tempe. Maybe not the last two games that he wanted on the island, and now outstanding tonight.
I think you get rewarded for the work you put in, and both of those guys are two of our hardest workers. Like, they're the guys that are staying after practice, getting shots. They're coming back later to work on their game again. They're, Bryce, like you, he was never handed anything, Bryce. I mean, coming into it, I wasn't sure what his role was, but he won his role, like in practice and workouts. He was a standout all summer and preseason, just like Mo. Those two guys were like front and center, day in and day out. I don't think Bryce missed a practice or a workout, and just you could depend on him, so you could count on guys like that.
I thought I was a rules guy, but if you could explain a rule to me, 8:13 to go, looked like they called an offensive foul, checked for a flagrant, and then suddenly it was no longer your ball.
Yeah.
What was the explanation?
I think the rule is that if they go and look at the monitor to see if there's a flagrant to be upgraded, then everything's on the table, including a foul on us or no foul at all. So that's the rule.
Bobby, just talk to Phoenix for a second. You're 3-0 so far on the island. I don't know what your personal record is now, about 14-0 or something like that. But just talk to Phoenix about what you've done, and to be 3-0 so far on this trip, and now get to be able to have a chance to come home with a trophy.
Yeah, all the history in this event, all the great players and great teams, and great programs and coaches, to be able to say that we're in a position to play for a championship, it's a great honor. It's the highest honor, for this time of year, to play in an event like this and have a chance to win it all.
I'm not hiding the fact that I'm on a kick, and one of the reasons why I'm here is because I think Bobby Hurley is a good coach and they shouldn't move on from him. But I don't have any problem with the fact that ASU is making him prove that. I have no problem with that. Why shouldn't every coach have to? So I like what I'm seeing. It really excites me what I'm seeing as the team is starting to come together more and more all the time. So let me give you two quotes to just kind of set that fact up of how I feel about Bobby Hurley. This is Sean Miller. I asked Sean Miller after the Texas game. So keep in mind, Sean Miller just lost Texas versus ASU. Not really all that thrilled. And I asked him, Bobby Hurley's in the last year of his contract. They had a bad year last year. I don't want to sugarcoat it. It was a bad year. A lot of fans, a lot of media want Bobby Hurley fired. Can you tell me what you think about him? Can you tell me what you think it's like to coach against Bobby Hurley? What makes a Bobby Hurley team tough, if you agree that they are?
I think 19 turnovers is the key to our team. We came in the game and
for the most part, through our early season, we've done a good job taking care of the ball. And we had 9 at the half, had a couple guys maybe that just were uncharacteristic in terms of, just making tough turnovers. And look, we've had a couple plays late in the game. That stretch that I talked to you about when we had an advantage, part of what got them back into, the one possession game is steals on an underneath out of bounds play after a timeout, a steal on a set play. And again, that's to their credit. It's also something we have to improve. It's tough to win against good teams, neutral court, when you have 19 turnovers. The other thing, and again, I'm anxious to watch the game, we had 28 personal fouls. That's insane. 28 personal fouls. It's just, I think we had 2 charges. It's just hard. And I thought that a couple times, Arizona State, they put you in a position to guard the dribble, and they got into the paint and they were able to draw 3 fouls, draw fouls from the 3 officials. If one guy didn't catch it on the baseline and the other guy maybe didn't catch it on the wing, the guy at half court damn sure caught it. And I thought the 28 fouls was also a huge story. If I have 2 numbers that I walk away with, is we have to play better defense without fouling and really take a look at the 3 officials on why we fouled the 2 charges, and really look at those 2 charges, because those are turnovers as well. And then obviously the 19 turnovers, which I talked about. But Mo Odom, he was terrific tonight, and he deserves all the accolades. Game-winning shot, 6 for 12 from 3, 16 of 18 from the free throw line. And he was fouled 8 times. So him and Anthony Johnson, they got fouled 15 times. It's tough when the starting backcourt can draw 15 fouls. So we certainly have to play better defense without fouling.
Sean, if you could, since you know that I'm back here in the back, since you coached against Bobby Hurley a lot in different scenarios, especially when you were at U of A, and he's in the last year of his contract. Last year was bad for ASU, and a lot of fans wanted a new coach this year. Would you just give me a quote on the challenges for you when you coach against a Bobby Hurley coach team and your thoughts of coaching against him?
Nobody's coached more against the Hurley family than me. I'm surprised I haven't coached against his dad. I've caught Danny a million times. And by the way, I'm headed up there in 2 weeks to catch him one more time. Somehow we played Bobby here again. So I think I was counting between maybe 26 times I've coached against Danny and Bobby. But look, Bobby Hurley, I was on his team in the World University Games in 1991 in Sheffield, England. He was one of the greatest college point guards to ever play. He won 2 national championships, and he runs his program, he coaches his team, and I don't think that you could do much better in terms of a competitor, person that knows the game, runs a program, and does a great job. Obviously, they have a basketball family. I have a huge amount of respect for Danny, Bobby, Bob Sr. Those guys they love the game.
So that's pretty special on how Sean Miller feels about Bobby Hurley as a coach and the challenge. Now, I admit he never said, it's the hardest guy I've ever had to coach. He didn't say anything like that. But what a good thing to say. It's got to make you feel good if you're an ASU fan and if you're a U of A fan. But what about a non-digital clock? What about old school alarm? That's probably the exact that's going to go up in flames. But from a polar opposite of kind of the message, here's Eric Musselman, head coach of USC, who's now going to be facing ASU today at 12:30, when he's asked the question about a Bobby Hurley coach team and kind of previewing the game today between ASU and USC.
Well, the good thing is Bobby and I aren't going to play one-on-one because I know who would win that game. The part about Arizona State, love being there. My family loved being there. It's a great place to live. It's a great school. And I respect how Coach Hurley's put together his basketball team, to find a guy like they're off guard that's like where'd he come from? And then he comes out and he really, really contributes. And, they're a team that plays like their coach. They take on his personality. And, so for us, it's just watching this game, evaluating this game, then trying to come up with a game plan.
You've heard of a mid-major. Like my beloved Ohio Bobcats are kind of more of a low to mid-major, not quite a mid-major. University of Dayton is totally considered a mid-major. GCU is trying to move into that category of a mid-major. Mo Odom has never played for a mid-major. He was at Pacific. Then he transferred and spent, I would say, a couple years at Pepperdine, if I'm not mistaken. I might have it backwards. Sorry if I have it backwards. It might have been 2 years at Pacific and 1 year at Pepperdine, but I was thinking it's 1 year Pacific, 2 years in Pepperdine. That's low. That's not mid-major. That's low major. Okay, that's not big-time college football. And he's already made multiple clutch shots at the end of games this year to win it for ASU. He's averaging almost 20 points a game. But as a point guard, he's still distributing, number one, with 6.3 assists, and then an astonishing shooting 40%. For your point guard to shoot 40% while distributing 6.5% of the time, or not 6.5%, but averaging 6.5. I almost said rewards. Man, I'm tired. 6.5 assists a game. That's insane. And he's already at 19.4 points a game, and he's a Sun Devil. So when you think about some of the things that Marie said in that press conference, you kind of wake up a little bit and go, okay, what's going on here? What do you have? And maybe you get lucky and find somebody's watch. But it really wasn't that funny. I'm starting to drift into being goofy again. But what I loved about what I'm seeing from ASU, I do want to see them dive on the floor more. I do want to see them fight for more loose balls. I want to see Jop take the next step and play angry and really understand how to square up a body. Don't have to take a hit, but figuring out to keep your hands high and not get yourself into foul trouble. That's asking a lot. But I think he's the right guy. All right, again, don't forget, I'm now going to be doing a show on Thanksgiving night that'll drop on your phone Friday morning. That'll be your hardcore football. A little bit, hopefully, I can do from the airport tonight to give you a Thanksgiving show, but it's more so of just congratulating ASU. You know what? Let's just do that. Tomorrow's show, no 4-minute offense, not a vacation show, though. That's just going to be a focal point, especially if ASU wins. If they lose, it'll just be a couple sound quotes and some conversation points, but not a heavily produced show. And then I'll get you back on the Friday after Thanksgiving, meaning I'll be working Thanksgiving night to be able to give you a great show. Hopefully you're with me on that. But man, being here has been amazing, and seeing this team grow has been amazing. And obviously, if you're a U of A fan, I'm not going to encourage you to go watch an ASU game. But if you are an ASU fan, or even if you're not, try to find a way this year to get to a Sun Devil game. The arena, to me, is a dump. I hate that place. I think it's an embarrassment that they think that it's okay. There's so many issues. It's not like you can tailgate. It's not like they have great food in that arena. There's a lot of negatives, and I want to say that to you up front. But when you go, you'll be blown away by the effort and energy of those players. And Bobby has a great knack of coming up with the perfect time to pull off a trap. I think you're going to like watching ASU basketball. And if you care, it's got my full endorsement. Coming up next, I think we did all right on Versus Vegas. It's coming up on Doug Franz Unplugged, presented by Whirlwind Golf Club at Wild Horse Pass.
Here is Sue Rigler on starting 100 Mile Brewing Company.
What started 100 Mile Brewing Company is I actually have a degree in microbiology from ASU. Go Devils. And went back to school. I found out that UC San Diego had a brewing program, so I enrolled in that. And with the intention of opening a brewery, I came back to Tempe because it's Sun Devil country. I wanted to open a brewery in Tempe, which fresh, it never gets old is our tagline. And I'm pretty much a stickler about fresh beer. It's got to be fresh. Otherwise, it's not going to be served here.
Hi, I'm Angie with Penny Royal Promotions. We decorate blank apparel, screen printing, embroidery, direct to film. Also, we provide promotional products, offset printing, tents, canopies, banners, business cards, anything you can put a logo on. Okay, Unplugged Army, if you own a business, you have an upcoming event, a charity function, golf tournament, we're the official provider of the Unplugged Army. Ask for Angie. I'm this year's Euchre champion.
It's time for versus Vegas. I'm so happy I got through today's show relatively unscathed. Oh my goodness. I'm tired. I really struggled this week. Hopefully I hit it well. And when I say hit it well, not that you don't already know, not that I don't want to be open and honest with you all the time, but I mean just better than the way last week ended. You know, that's what's really important. Don't know what I'm doing today after the game. I'm really hoping to play golf. But the tee times I saw, there's a Troon course right outside my hotel, and it's like $200, and they don't have a plan like the Whirlwind Plus plan, where you spend $300 for the year, and then you get the lowest rate of the day. So there are some rates later in the afternoon that are $150, and that won't work for my time schedule. So that means I need to go earlier, and then that's a $200 rate. Well, if it was anything like Whirlwind, which it's not, but if it was anything like Whirlwind, well, then I would get the late afternoon rate, but choose to play earlier in the day when it was convenient for me. It's awesome. That's Whirlwind Plus. Go to whirlwindgolf.com and feel the wind. Versus Vegas, I went 3-2 yesterday. Really, I couldn't believe one of them that I missed. I was really confident in ASU over Wazoo, and I said they would cover the 6.5. They covered the 6. They didn't. The hook, Mikey, the hook. ASU won 194, so we missed that one. We took Seton Hall plus the 7.5. I actually thought Seton Hall was going to win, but I could not believe a 7.5 point spread. I thought Vegas really got that one wrong, so we took Seton Hall with the spread. USC won, but they only won by 2, so we got that win. I went for blood money. My Bobcats are terrible. I said that's a bad line for LMU to only be favored by 4.5. And Loyola Marymount won by 12, 70-58 over the Flameouts here over my Bobcats. I took Baylor plus the 4.5 against St. John's. Kind of got boat race there. St. John's won by 15. So St. John's covered the 4.5 that I was using with the 96-81 win. And I took GCU on the money line against Utah last night. Feel good about that. And they won by 10, 68-58. So that gave me a record of 3-2 yesterday. Coming up tonight, I know this sounds crazy. I scoured everything, and I only find one game. You know, I only wager when I think I like something. And I like Seattle on the money line, and I can't read that. I think it says Dallas. Let me make sure the Stars are on the back end of a difficult back-to-back before I give you my look. Let's see here. Yes, Dallas at Seattle. There was only one game in the NHL last night. It was Dallas at Edmonton. And then Dallas had to fly over customs. Not a terrible distance, but still pretty long because everything in Canada is long to get to Seattle. So we're going to take Seattle on the money line. It isn't great juice. Actually, It should be really good juice now that I see it. Yeah. I didn't even realize what I was saying. Yeah, we get plus 120 on this one. Look at us being a little rebellious. Yeah, we're taking the Kraken at home over Dallas. Sound credits today. I got let's see, where did I get anything from? I'm the one that provided all of the Bobby Hurley, all the Eric Musselman, and all of the Sean, but none of the Sean Miller. That was that Sean Miller that I played. I got that from the Maui Invitational YouTube page. And, I got the Cardinal sound from Drew Petzing and Nick Rollis. I think I just used the Drew Petzing today in the 4-minute offense. I got that from the Arizona Cardinals YouTube page. And, yeah, I think that's it. I'm not sure, but I think that's it. Thanks for letting me have a great time this week. And really learning a lot about how I could be better. That's where you've really helped me, by you continually listening to me and your patience with my failures. You help make the show. That's another way you help make the show better. So thank you very much for that. That does it for today's version of Doug Franz Unplugged, presented by Whirlwind Golf Club at Wild Horse Pass. Right now, become a Whirlwind Plus member, $299 for the year, and you save on just about everything. Santan Ford, 202 in Val Vista. I am Santan Ford. I'm using the mobile unit on Monday, and I'm driving a convertible Ford Mustang here on Maui right now. And boy, is it calling my name. I got to tell you, I got to have a GT, though. I got to have a GT. I already know that. I don't love the kind of hybridish engine, whatever I have. But, man, I love that car. Santan Ford, 202 in Val Vista. I am Santan Ford. Parker & Sons Heating, Cooling, Plumbing, and Electrical. Parker & Sons have been with me as one of the originals. The 3 originals are Bell's Nashville Kitchen, Burrito Express, and Parker & Sons. Call 602-2-REPAIR. That's 602, the number 2, then REPAIR for Parker & Sons. Heating, cooling, plumbing, and electrical. December 6th, Burrito Express in Tempe, grand opening. Please do whatever you can to be there. It is a non-sanctioned event. You know what? That's actually a Saturday, December 6th. Well, boom, let's make it a sanctioned event. You're a general, you want to stay a general, you got to figure out a way to get there Saturday morning. Sanctioned event. I heard he's going to have a little cornhole tournament, so I'm probably going to stop by, play a little bit of cornhole. So please be a part of that event with me on December 6th, in which we are there. Also an event, December 20th, is the 5th annual Unplugged Holiday Event, going on from 3 o'clock until 10 o'clock. Please make sure that's already on your phone. That's on your calendar, because I want to see you there. That's really important. 100 Mile Brewing Company, Tempe, rural Scottsdale 202 all come together. Go south from that point and make an immediate right turn. Immediate right turn into the old Denny's that doesn't exist anymore. That used to be, that used to be Mexican. And our newest sponsor, Penny Royal Promotions, where you can slap a label on anything. But the home of great business t-shirts and business polos. That is Penny Royal Promotions. I can get you in touch with Angel. Just email me, Doug at DougFranzUnplugged.com, or Angie, Doug at DougFranzUnplugged.com. I was thinking about a burrito because I'm hungry. I'll see you tomorrow. Good night, Al.
Doug, thank you so much. My best to your listeners, and keep up the work on Doug Franz Unplugged.